Hello, and yes, I am here with Leemo. And now, Leemo, I have to start because obviously, personally, there's been some really big news coming out from your side, obviously, that you have been announced as a director of Involving Mindset from June. Just talk to me about
Yeah,
how that came about and how the opportunity came about for you.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've been involved in the charity since 2019, since we started. Set it up with two brothers, Phil and Andy, and I was actually made a director last August. Um, so now I'm in a position where I can leave my full-time job that I'm doing now and come over to Evolving Mindset and work full-time as a director, and that be salaried as well. So hopefully we can help, support, and reach out to a lot more people with having the three of us working full-time now.
Talk to me about 2019, obviously, then becoming Evolving Mindset. How did you set that up? Why was that so important to you?
I think myself and Phil spoke a while ago about setting something up where we could support people, and we were both kind of working in the same sector, and we just wanted to kind of be in a position where we could help as many people as we can. And then in 2019, on the back of Phil having a personal sort of struggle with mental health due to a relationship breakdown, he was supported by his friends and family. And then in 2019, as I said, himself and Andrew, his brother, kind of said, "But what about if we set up a mental health charity?" And then I was quickly brought in to sort out the sessions and how we were going to look at them and deliver them, and it just kind of escalated and grew. And I think it come at a perfect time, as it just led into the pandemic. It led into COVID, and we could have shut up shop, but we continued, and it's got us where we are today. It's got us that reputation locally, and we're doing so well, and we're helping so many people.
Yeah, because obviously it's Mental Health Week, Awareness Week this week as well. So obviously it was timely with the news, but so it's really interesting there because it seems like it's not a spur of the moment thing, but it feels like it was a spur of the moment thing. Or was this something that you thought of doing like years ago, that this would be something nice, or was it just that spur of the moment thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's I always wanted to, once I was invited, to become a director and be involved in Evolving Mindset from Phil and Andy. The plan was always for the three of us to come out full time and work. So we got involved with business coaches, and we got involved, with what's called Knowsley Chamber, which is it's like a wraparound organisation that helps companies grow. Because obviously we're a CIC, so we're a non-for-profit organisation, but obviously there's certain standards, there's laws, there's ethics, there's all that come into it. So it's about selecting the right people, and obviously we have a board which we selected the right people to be involved in the board. That's with experience, and people who can bring something to Evolving Mindset. And then obviously it's been a discussion that's been going on probably for the last 6 months, around me coming out full time, and then we got confirmation of a huge contract that would enable me to come out full time on a salary about 3 months ago. So yeah, I decided, spoke to the wife, and said, look, it's going to be a bit of a risk, but if I don't do it now, then who knows, it might not happen. And there I am. I'm out full time, and I can't wait to get started properly. I mean, I've been doing this, as you know, for the last 3 years behind the scenes and in the background, and as well as my full-time job, but now doing it and breathing it every single day is the passion. It's what I want to do, and I just want to help people.
What have you learned about yourself during this process? Because obviously it's a shift. It's a completely different role, right? From your speeches that you do on Twitch and so forth, and organizing those sessions and helping people. That's a big shift from going from working full time to doing those. What have you learned about yourself that sort of surprised you over this journey?
I think what I've learned about myself is I've grew as a person in regards to looking at the bigger picture in regards to taking a risk. I was always one of those that I had a very secure job. Being in the sector that I'm in and being a mental health nurse, I was always, I'll never be out of work, I'll be fine. I'll always have a wage coming in. And I think it got to a point where I was really comfortable in the job that I'm currently in now. And I wasn't challenging myself. But I think with evolving mindset, I've learned that, there's a lot more for me personally to give to the community. There's a lot more of me that I want to give. And I've been learning as well, and I thought, what, I'm 40, it's picking up a book and reading articles and journals again is, I've done that when I went to uni, but I've learned so much, and I've just shown myself that I can still do that. There's still room in there to fit a bit more knowledge in. Even though I'm losing my hair, I'm not losing my brain cells yet.
No, indeed. So let's talk Football Manager then, because it's another big reason about why we're here. And obviously you've got a wealth of draft experience, right? So I want to ask, what has been that main thing that you've learned about drafting, about Football Manager, and that process?
It's very unpredictable. Very unpredictable. Now, I'm normally one who keeps me cool, and I'm normally kind of just sitting there going with the flow. And I drafting's probably one of the best things that I've found with FM. Since doing the very first draft that I was involved in, which was the Creators Championship. And I got to the final of that particular tournament against Tony Jameson, funny enough, and he beat me with a strikerless. That was the first time I'd ever seen it. I think that was back in FM 19, maybe, FM 20. But I really enjoyed it. The amount of people I've met and made friends with through doing the drafts as well is just fantastic, and being involved in other aspects of drafts as well, like hosting them and being on comms teams, obviously for yourselves last season, and that element of it I really, really enjoyed. And I think a wealth of experience, and I think it's been very kind of up and down, but I think that experience does help sometimes when I'm in certain situations, definitely. But sometimes you just can't change the look of the match engine, can you?
No, indeed, and obviously you've got your tactic there of your lovely 4-4-2 in a sense, or 4-2-4, however you want to describe it. Just talk to me about, because that you've had that tactic for a while, in terms of you had a variation of it in FM21, and you've obviously got a variation of it in FM22. Talk to me why that system works well for you.
It's a system that I enjoy. It's a system that I enjoy watching. It's a system that I feel when I'm in game, I can get a lot more out. I feel it's a very versatile system as well, especially with the type of players that I like to pick, with hard work and, fast. I do tend to stick to a spine of players as much as I possibly can. If they go, there's always backups, but I think for this draft in particular, I have mixed things up a little bit. On the last competition I was involved in, very unlucky to go out, to be fair. And the tactic worked quite well. And again, it's because I know it so well. It's becoming familiar with the in-game tweaks that you may need to make when you're either on top of the game or you're chasing a game as well. I've been in them situations where I've been 2 and 3 goals behind and I've brought it back and either drew or won. So.
I was going to say, don't remind me, because I
wasn't going to mention that.
Don't remind me. I was just thinking that point. If I got that point in that game, I would have won the group. It would have made no difference in the FM playoffs anyway, because I would have still played Mozza, I reckon. But hey, there we go. Obviously, talk to me about roles, specific roles, because obviously the Segundo Volante role. Right, and obviously sometimes you play 2, sometimes you mix it up and you've got 1 and so forth. What is it about that Segundo Volante role that suits that tactic so well?
I think it's a role that it sits kind of in front of the back 4, and it gives that added protection, I think. And given the instructions that it's got, you get the right player in that role with the right traits. You get a player in there who can sort of play like a box-to-box, who's got that engine, but can also pass the ball out wide as well. So where your wingers are running wide, and that's what I like about that role. It pushes up, it gets into the box as well as protecting the defense, but it can also spread the play quite well. And that's something that I noticed a long time ago. I think FM18 really was the time I created that tactic. I done a Wolves save, and I utilised Martinho and Neves as those segundo volantes on attack. And honestly, it was unbelievable. At the time when Jota was there, and you know, just having those two wingers as well with the two strikers, it just clicked, and I was thinking, wow, this is really good. Something's working. And I started using it in PvP, and it was like boom. As you see in FM21, it was draft wise, it was quite successful with it in PvP. Not so much this year, but to be fair, I don't think I've used it as much as what I did in 21. I have tried to kind of go back to the flat 4-4-2, but there may be a couple of surprises come Monday night anyway.
Yeah, what was interesting that you said there, and I think this is like the next level that people take when they create tactics, is that you start looking for traits, right? Yeah. Which you said there. Now, for someone who's fairly new to the game or hasn't really got much PvP experience, how do you know what traits to look at when you're thinking, okay, I want, let's say a centimeter on defend or an inverted winger or whatever, right? Role. What traits would you look for in a general sense of, positions that you'd see most people use in terms of, so you take that next step, and so you take that next step with your tactics, so you know who you're picking, you narrow that shortlist down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've got to look at the type of system and type of football you want to play. We all love creating tactics. Whether our own or whether we tweak others. It is what it is. It's a game at the end of the day, and we want to have fun with it. I think with the roles, for me, it was something that I kind of touched on, and it's like a little bit of research, and I ended up doing like a spreadsheet with all the stats on and stuff like that, and I found myself looking at players that were sort of maybe a CM, but they had the traits where they could play as a volante, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try him in that role. And I think when you're looking at traits, it's about looking at what you want to do with that particular player in that role, because you can go even further into the role with adding those extra player instructions as well, because you're in control of that tactic. But sometimes adding too many can really confuse the players as well. So you've got to be careful and create that balance. When you've got a world-class player, especially if you're utilising a world-class pool, there's a lot of DMs that can play in that volante role. But for me specifically, for that role, I'm looking at stamina, I'm looking at work rate, I'm looking at that vision. I want that passing. But the traits in particular, I want them to look at arriving late into the box within that midfielder, but also, as I said earlier, spreading the ball wide as well. And I think you'll get the best out of that role in particular.
I want to turn this now towards your streaming career. I just want to talk to me about when you started streaming, and did that coincide with anything that you were doing at that time with Evolving Mindset?
So when I first came over to Twitter, so I've been streaming. It'll be 2 years this July. So a couple of months. It'll be 2 full years. So like six to 8 months before that, I kind of arrived on the scene very, very kind of subtly in the background. And I used to watch a guy, well, still do, Tenacious G, and he streams Football Manager, streams on all of other games at the moment. But we've become quite good friends now. I'm actually attending his wedding at the end of May, and I come in and started watching him, and I was welcomed into that community with him and a few others. And when they got to know me a bit more and found out what I did as a job, I was a mental health nurse and I was involved in a charity. I found myself sort of starting to help people in the background. I got a section in their Discord, and then I came quite an integral part of this new community that was forming. There was about 8 of us who were kind of as a group. We used to play FIFA on a Friday night, and we got really close. And one of the guys who was in that group reached out to me and said, "Look, I'm having thoughts to kill myself. I'm suicidal," and that's kind of when it kind of clicked for me that, whoa, there's so many people in this community online, so many people isolated that need support. How can I help people? And I never thought that I'd end up streaming, and to be honest, it was kind of an accident really. But the way it happened, the support I got initially for the way my streams were, they were fun, they were they were just hectic. They were, you know, with the rain and stuff, but there was elements of where the seriousness had come. Sometimes of a night where I'd show some of our videos and we talk about mental health, and I'd start streaming the sessions as well. That's where the channel really blew up. And, you know, it's turned into, it's not about me, it's not about Leemo. Now I'm the face of my channel, but it's about evolving mindset. It's about making sure people have got a safe platform to reach out to and get that support if they need it.
So I remember coming in to actually some of your evolving mindset sessions that you were doing on your Twitch channel. So was that the key then? So even though it was fun and you were doing Football Manager at the beginning, right? But when did that, was it at that moment? But I think that moment that you said there was before you started streaming. Yeah. When was that moment while you were streaming that you decided, right, boom, I want to actually do these sessions on a Twitch? Because it was not, I haven't seen that been done before on a Twitch channel.
I've seen it the same as you. I'd never seen it before, and I thought, I think I said that there's a gap here. I spoke to a couple of people that I know within the community, and I ended up creating a Discord, you know, which is very mental health orientated. And my channel was growing so quickly in such a short space of time, and people who I knew, you know, who were bigger streamers or bigger YouTubers were saying to me, wow, I've never seen anyone grow so quick. And I know, you know, on reflection, I know why that was, because obviously, yeah, I hope to think that people liked coming in to watch me, but it was a pandemic. A lot of people were at home. A lot of people were sitting in front of the screen, whether it was the phone, their laptops, their PCs, whatever it was, tablets. And a lot of people were able to access what I was doing on Twitch. And I think it was important for me to make sure that what I was doing didn't kind of overshadow the fact that I'm here to help people. That's what I want to do. I love playing Football Manager and I enjoy it. But I think the moment I'd done a 24-hour stream in the August. So I started streaming in the July and I'd done a 24-hour stream in the August. And it was just bonkers. The numbers were amazing. And then I was just getting huge raids all the time. And then the word was spreading. This created this kind of character within the community. And the more people got to know me, they understood this is what I do. This is how I want to be, and I want to help people. And I think for me, it was always, the plan was never to stream, but now that I am streaming, I quite quickly realized that I can help so many people by streaming these sessions on Twitch. People can come in and watch.
We're close on time, but I can't let you go without asking. Obviously, you've obviously worked hard to get the evolving mindset banners into Football Manager. Just talk to me about that.
Yeah. So, in a kind of nutshell, really, I formed a bit of a relationship via email, really, if you like, with a guy called Sam who works for SI Games. I saw a tweet from Miles, and I reached out to SI Games and said, look, I'm a local charity. This is what we do. I play Football Manager to stream. Any chance that we can have our boards in the game? It's amazing. And I got an email back within a day. Like, that's how quick it was. They were amazing. They sent me all the specs, everything that they needed. Send us this. And then FM19, boom, there's the Evolving Mind. And I've got a clip on my channel of the exact moment when I first saw them, and I went bonkers. And thanks to Football Manager, they've continued. They're in FM20, FM21, and FM22, which is absolutely amazing. And I couldn't thank them enough. You know, like I said, you guys know, you click on those ad boards and that takes you right to our website where you can find all the support you need.
And then finally from me, I can't let you not go and talk about Leemo Land. Like, how did Leemo Land become a thing? And it's just great. Every time someone raids your channel, the afro comes out. Talk to me about the afro, and we all start raiding the Leemo Land. The music comes on, and I'm like, wow. And this is, I think, part of that growth for you, because it seems.
Yeah, it's the energy, isn't it? And that's what, you know, I wanted to create something where people come in and they had fun and they went out the stream with a smile on their face. And the afro come from basically a stereotypical Scouser with a big afro and a muzzy and a trackie, you know, and that kind of became the theme. And then the song was kind of like, I can't even remember. I think I was listening to some YouTube music one night on stream, and I was having a bit of a chill. I'd had a couple of beers and we were just listening to it, and it come on. this song, and it was just the whole. And I didn't realize, so I had it on full screen, and I was looking at my OBS, and I was like, "This looks cool," because it was like literally footage of him at a concert, and it was like, "Wow, this." And then when the beat kicked in, it was like, "I love this song," and then the next minute it was like, "Right, this is my raid song," and then someone raided me, and I just put it on, and everyone was just going nuts. It was a big raid, like. I just thought, let's just play a song. And everyone was like, what's going on here? Who's this? And there was just this afro sunglasses just dancing to Jerry Cinnamon. And it was amazing. And it just stuck. And that's kind of, we got a moat made, called it Leemo Land, because the song's called Disco Land. And some people were saying it sounds like you're saying Tesco bags because of my accent. So we created Tesco bag emotes. And yeah, that's how it was born, really.
Leemo, that is amazing. Best of luck
Thank you.
for the finals.
Thanks for having me.